Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we take a look at what makes someone a bourbon living legend. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guests, J-Ro, Tim Swaya, and Evan Van Scoik.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
How we doing?
Very good. Very good. So, cool stuff. So, yes, we've got a fun show today. We're going to be talking about what makes a bourbon living legend? Because I do a weekly post. It's a blog post that I do. I send out via our account, and I cover who I think is a living legend. And sometimes it's tough to define. And I've got some questions for you guys. We'll drill that down after the break, though. What exactly is a living legend? So we'll get to that soon. Tim's got small talk, but before we get to that, I want to tell you guys about something cool that happened this week. To me, this is fruition of this. This just justifies everything that we do and stuff like that. So I get an email saying that a PayPal donation has come to you, and I click on it. I'm like, first of all, you assume it's a spam because I get your PayPal account's locked. They give you all this spam mail on, but this is a different. I never got one like that before. So I click open, and then sure enough, it says here's a donation given to you, and it's to the ABV Network's PayPal account. So. And I don't know the individual, so this makes it unique too. And the person says, and I'm just paraphrasing here because I'm not reading it, but Steve, I listen to the shows every day, and I feel like you guys are friends, and I just want to give you this as a token of my appreciation for the work that you guys do. And I think this is like the coolest thing ever. I think this is what, we create these shows, and now we have the Crew Club, which helps us out, put some faces to the people that do it. But when we first started, like when McNew got going with us, we had no idea who's even downloaded. We could see number of downloads, but we have no idea who our fans are or who's listening. And then you see a personal relationship like that, where it means so much to someone where I've never met this individual. Hello to Jeff. We won't say his last name. I don't know if he wants to talk about it on the air, but hello to Jeff. And thank you for listening. And thank you for that kind gesture. But I took it and I showed it to the warden. Now, the warden is... she is kind of stoic, I would say, and she's Eastern Bloc, so she's Czechoslovakian, last name Lukovic, Lojkovic. So Eastern Bloc can be kind of lack of emotion, an accountant, so kind of a very don't talk to people type of thing. I don't like. That's why she would never come on the shows or anything. That's why we call her the warden, because she doesn't. So I show her this, and she reads it, and she says, "Yeah, what does it mean?" And I said, well, it's all there. I said, that's pretty cool, right? She says, why? Yeah. And I'm like, because he likes what we do. And she's like, yeah, but what? Okay. And I'm like, no, it's terrible. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking it out. And then I took it back, and that was it. That was my interaction. So I'm glad you guys at least think it's a cool story, right? I mean, that's a cool thing, isn't it?
I think it's very cool. And it's somebody that maybe doesn't want to commit monthly or can't commit monthly to a Patreon or whatever. Right. But they're like, hey, this was great. I just want to show my appreciation. We appreciate you. You didn't have to do that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And it just shows there's a group of people that have a common interest.
Yeah.
Then they would just want to hear, they're just excited to hear it. I mean,
and cool. Honestly, Steve, you're more excited about the compliment more than the donation, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we meant a lot to you.
It wasn't life-changing money. Yeah, it was just a nice.
I forgot about the donation.
It was a nice little donation.
I thought it was just. Yeah.
But again, we don't have anything set up. We actually have something set up for live events and stuff like that. We have the tip jar, but this didn't come through that. This was just, he looked up on PayPal, ABV Network, and just, I guess, knew it would be us. It's ABV Network LLC. So I guess he just knew it would be us and sent it.
What is that? Like, I wish that he would like get involved with the crew club so we can interact with him and talk to him.
Yes,
we have so much fun with the people we get to interact with.
Yeah, he said, you guys feel like you're friends because you're part of my daily routine, which
that's why
that's the greatest compliment. Yeah,
and that benefits us too, because like I literally I do think of the crew club like as friends, where I'm just like, oh, right. Melanie would like this, Adina would like this, whoever would like that. Like I send them right all the time.
And I think that's what our show is. That's exactly the essence of the Bourbon Daily. It comes out every day. It's part of your everyday life. It's why we have this different cast of characters, so we can mix it up and keep it interesting for you every day. But that's why I also think that maybe the first time that you listen, you're like, well, there's somebody on Gerald that I don't know who this is. Who are all these people? Why are they talking? So I think that, but if you listen and you give it time, you start to learn the personalities. You're like, oh, I like it. This is a cool episode. Evan Van Spoik's on. I like when he's on, or Tim. I like his take on things. So it's something that is kind of cool, but again, that you have to kind of give it a little time and then get into it.
Or J-Ro, she's gonna say something totally nasty and disgusting.
Right.
So, yeah,
that's true.
Steve.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Well,
before we get to your small talk, which we will do in a second here, what are your thoughts on this situation?
Steve, you hit it. So I've been, I've had my bourbon journey on a Bourbon Daily. I've had a podcast where you had your pay for podcast subscription of talking about my journey. I've been looking for something like this, a community like this that I can connect with. And while I'm in a metropolitan area in Chicago, there's a ton of opportunities there, but they're all over the city. They're not in the burbs. This forum that you created, the Bourbon Daily itself, let's just be honest, it's hard damn work to come up with content every day with something to talk about that just gets a group of people together to talk about whatever it may be without any filters or anything like that. And you've created a community. Like today when we're taping the show, it was Becca Sue's 4th anniversary being with the ABV network. It also was your 4th anniversary of really knowing Royce Neely.
Right.
Look at what happened in 4 years of what you've done.
Yeah.
I put a little post on Instagram about, I will always remember episode number 529, as well as Becca Sue's Derby call from last year with Phil Collin on that episode and everything. It's just, I'll never forget that because that reminds me of a season and everything like that. And I would agree that listen to this podcast daily. I may not listen daily. I may listen in chunks at a time, depending on what my daily life is. This gives me about a half an hour or 15 or 20 minutes to hear about what other folks are talking about and connect with those folks on a personal level, because be even more honest, as the shows go on, after about 5 shows go on, you get really honest with people as you're working through stuff.
It's just such a beautiful statement, though. It's a beautiful statement that, you guys are part of what I do every day, and I feel like you guys are my friends. Even though we've never met, I've never talked to you, but I feel like you guys are my friends, and I thought that was really cool. So, despite what the warden said, it's very, very.
That speaks volumes to the community, and it's hard out there. It's very, very hard out there for everybody. Doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum, whatever. It's very hard out there. And for somebody to make a statement like that, to whatever dollar amount they feel appropriate, doesn't matter. That's really says something to the content that we're creating, to that moment in time of clarity or disconnection from the real world and real problems. That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And I think this is a time to say, we love you, Jeff.
We love you, Jeff.
Love you.
That's great.
But also, like, the little group we created, Steve, it's very private, so it is for like the paying members, but it keeps the ugliness out. Like, there are so many bourbon groups that are not private; they're public. People are just so
professional trolls, almost. Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that.
No. Just in the comment, like somebody could be like, "Hey, I bought this bourbon today," and it could be like a Yellowstone, something great, and people will just shit on them in the comments for no reason, just to be assholes. Because you're somebody online.
Yeah.
We really just created a whole community where we're all very kind to each other, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I'll say this: Apple hates us because we come out every day of the. If you look at the rankings, the Bourbon Daily is probably, and again, you just see the rankings. So supposedly it's the most popular show, but I looked at what is their number one show. we get more downloads per month than them, and we've had more all-time downloads than them. And they're number one, and we're like number 20. But I think it's because they do 6 shows a month, and we do 30 shows a month on it. So I guess that's what throttles us down in the algorithms. But we're number one in my mind. If you get the most, it's TV audience. Whoever has the most viewers is number one. To me, we're the number one podcast. Whether people want to agree with it or not, because we do 30 shows a month versus the average podcast is once a week. You can say what you want. I don't care. We get the most downloads. To me, that means something, and I think we're number one. So
I think it gives everyone something to relate to.
Yeah. All right, Tim, you had an official question. That was just some fun pre-talk. So
that was something of itself. So if you are a listener to the Bourbon Daily, you know how contentious a more recent episode was of drinking coffee was about.
Gosh, I was on that. I was offended.
Which
I love that episode.
Question.
I love that episode.
That was podcast gold. It's amazing how polarizing it is.
Yes, but everybody listened. I tell you what, you think, well, that sucks. No, our listenership on that show is double what we normally get, because people are pissed off. They're like, I don't drink coffee. Screw you. But okay, fine, you listened.
We're in our corners for this one.
So I'm going to light this candle and see what comes out of this. Which would be harder for you to give up? Coffee or alcohol? I'm not even going to set aside bourbon.
Alcohol.
I'm going to throw all alcohol out there. What is more?
This last Friday or Sunday.
We actually had this. Yeah, you
So
were on those shows, weren't you, too?
Caffeine, not just coffee. He said all caffeine all together. And we just decided we could do Coke or Adderall.
He said coffee.
Alcohol.
We'll just Coke up in the morning. Yeah. Not like Coke, like caffeinated. I'm talking about bumps of cocaine. We'll just do that.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll find
so we're doing cocaine or no?
We're doing cocaine in the morning.
We're not giving up alcohol.
We're not giving up alcohol.
So cocaine in the morning
it is what
and
it is.
Alcohol, then I'm in.
We actually don't condone that, but it's fun for a show talk. So
no, it's kidding. Totally kidding. Clearly
don't do drugs.
kidding.
Don't do
I'm
drugs.
not joking that
Drugs are bad. Red Ribbon Week. Nancy Reagan. Don't do drugs.
Yeah, clearly you got to give up the coffee, and then there's going to be consequences. You're going to have to deal with this for probably a couple of weeks of headaches and problems and feeling foggy in the morning and all that. But I think you'll get past it. I do. But alcohol, that's our friends. Yeah. That what came down to when we talked about this on the other show was, this is our friends. I don't have coffee friends. I don't have, I'll go to my coffee group now and I'll hang out with those folks. I don't have a coffee crew. Even though I love coffee, I drink it every day and I would miss it. If I toss bourbon out of the mix, I think
I can't talk coffee beans like I can talk bourbon.
Yeah.
So the real question really comes down to is, are you a morning person or not a morning person?
I'm not.
And the answer would be majority of people on here.
I could be bourbon in the morning.
And there's the magic answer right there.
There you go.
I mean, I could. If
So I think, wasn't it, Steve, like President Truman, we did his thing in Key West. He took a shot of bourbon every morning, took a walk.
Did.
He was doing fine.
That's what,
he was old granddad. Wasn't
old granddad? Yeah.
Fine.
You get older, those bones and joints hurt, and but you're going to go walking. You just do a nice little, old granddad shot in the morning. Then you go out for a walk. I think that's a good.
Have you guys ever had the K cups? The alcohol K cups? The coffee one.
I've seen those things, but I haven't tried it.
Yeah.
I have had peanut butter cups, and those are delicious.
Kind of legit, and they
well done,
go
Evan.
right in your little coffee maker.
There's some wit.
The K cup, and the ABV is super high on them, and there's like a patty mint one that's probably my favorite. It's like coffee and mint and tequila and vodka. I don't know. It's like a Long Island iced tea, but like coffee style.
Coffee style. Okay.
If you
it's pretty legit.
A single barrel K cup. If you could put one of your single barrels, mix it with coffee in a K cup, would you guys sell those?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure, of course.
I would drink it.
Sure. So if someone knows how to do that, reach out. We'll put it in the shop.
I would buy and drink.
It's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, guess what, gang? It is time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with McNew. I don't think McNew started this evening. Let's have her start this
I
evening.
might not have. I have a Larceny from Naptown Bourbon Club. Very little left in this. It's not going to do anything.
Okay. You kill a lot of bottles because you have a whole show called Bottle Kills. You put out 4 to 5 shows a month. And then a couple times on this show, you've killed bottles. I would think you're saving everything Bottle Kills for your show, but you drink so much.
A summer break, Steve. I sent you the other day. I'm like, I got to take a summer break.
I haven't opened up your emails yet because I haven't had time to post those. So
May 31st is the last one. I'll come back in September with those, but I have killed a lot of bottles.
Well, that's why it's confusing.
For more.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down with
Take a hiatus for a minute.
Alone.
So McNew's taking a hiatus. So yes.
Alone.
Okay. Yeah.
I literally titled it "Summer Hiatus," Steve.
I didn't see this the hiatus. Oh,
She's moving to Margarita.
it's so disappointing. Yeah, this is how I have to find out off the streets. She's taking a summer hiatus.
I sent it to you.
Should have called it a summer sabbatical.
Yeah. Most people have to notify their boss officially when they're taking a summer hiatus. I find out on the show. On the show in small talk. In small talk, I find out she's taking a summer hiatus. So yeah,
She's just moving to Margaritas.
it's kind of company I run here. All right, let's go with J-Ro. J-Ro, what do you got?
I mean, I've got a Yellowstone. Let's get up in here.
Okay.
Nothing?
Squeaky.
No.
Squeaky. Probably enough to beat McNew, so you got the lead. I think it can be beat, though. I'm going to go next. I've got Iron Root Harbinger, the Solstice Edition. Very special one here. This is signed by Robert and Jonathan Licorice, so that's kind of cool. So
That's cool.
Here we go. Gift shop only, folks. Danny got it for me. He was down in town. Very bassy.
J-Ro, is that what she would say?
I think
Sounded nice.
I think it was enough to...
She definitely... That was a BB, basic big move.
I think that's enough to take the lead. So I've got the lead right now.
No!
Yeah, oh yeah. You didn't have much
Questionable.
there. You weren't throwing up. No. All right, I think I'm going to get beat, but I have the lead.
Win.
I have the lead. Tim, what do you got?
I'm going with my friends out in Maysville, Kentucky, the Old Pogue Masters Select.
Okay.
What some would call a pappy killer, but that's for another small talk. Nothing
at all. All right. Right now, Evan, you're between
me
me
and
and
he has his noise canceling thing on.
I think he does.
Yeah.
My God.
I think he's got the
All right.
reverse of that. So yeah.
Time to engage original sound.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, I've got a Baker 7.
Okay.
Vegas.
No, not enough. I win.
Yeah, it did sound good. It was crisp, Evan, but Steve's was still better. So
Yeah.
It had nice. I was all about that bass.
I'm a believer
Megan.
in the original sound thing, but yeah, you still got to have a good cork. That's the bottom line. You still got to have a
Still got to have a good cork pop.
Yeah. So cheers, gang.
That's what she said.
Salute.
Prost.
All right. All right, we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about what makes you a living bourbon legend. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
Saying Bourbon Daily?
Yeah.
Okay, you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
No, your name first.
My name.
Who you are. Yeah.
Hi, this is Jason Souter.
And
you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Perfect.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're discussing what makes someone a bourbon living legend.
Yes, we are. So that's key. So, we're not talking about people that have passed away, the all-time greats and stuff like that. What makes you a living legend? So, and where I struggle with this is I think there's some people that are doing some amazing things. Like, well, let me throw out a name here that is one that I've thought about writing up a couple times, but have stopped. Beth Burrows of Jim Beam. Beth does different things than anybody else out there. She's doing all the educational stuff. She's representing the brand. She's so dedicated to history. She knows probably as much about the Beams as family members, which is unbelievable. But she's also relatively young. Beth is, I don't know, 30-ish, let's say.
26. She's always 26, Steve.
She's only 26. Yes. Okay. So she's 26.
Always 26.
Always 26. So but I struggle with that one. Is that a living legend?
Yes.
I think so, maybe. Yeah.
I wrote a list, Steve, and she hits like 2 of some of them that
Okay, you've got some parameters. What are your parameters? Yeah. This is good. This will help me.
Doing whatever the hell you want. She does. She does.
Yeah, she does.
The rules, there are no rules. She makes her own.
Mm-hmm.
And then good stories. Somebody that can tell a good story.
She can tell a great story.
Damn good story. And another was being open to new things, new people, genuinely
check.
People. She does all those things. That was my whole list. She hits them all.
I think the only thing you can hold against her is her age, and I don't think there really needs to be an age.
No, I think if you are 21 plus and enjoying bourbon, doing good you can be a legend at 21 if you want to be a legend at 21 if you're doing all the things.
Okay.
I don't think age is a factor. Age is not a factor.
What else you guys want to weigh in on this thing?
Yeah, I got some criteria too. McNew, those were some good ones.
That was good.
Let me give you mine and see what you think. And we at least shared one. So my first one was impact on others.
Yes.
So that can be like a personal impact, or it could be, something bigger. Contribution to industry. So whatever it is you're in, your contributions to that. Epic stories. I actually wrote down epic stories, and then you're like saying it. I was like, that's
great stories, but
I think that's a big part of it. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Connections created. So that's like forming relationships and building bonds, building bridges. And then I threw in an X factor, and I named it wow factor. Is you think about that person, and you're like, wow, like what they do, it's awesome. And that can be many different facets.
It's okay to have something that's kind of non-definable because, and this truly is, I think anybody would say this person's a living legend, but I got to meet Baker Beam one time at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It wasn't when he was going in. He's already a member. So they always get invited. If you're a member, you get invited. And, there's all these people talking. You can imagine there's hundreds of people that attend these events, and Baker Beam comes walking in, not on the stage or anything. I'm just talking about, this is beforehand. When he comes walking in, it's like all eyes turn to him. It's Baker Beam. He's just he's got that's something special. There's an air about him that makes you want to keep your eye on him when he's just in a room. And that's certainly a living legend type of thing. He's special. Yeah. Baker Beam for sure. Tim, what are your thoughts on this? What makes a living legend?
J-Ro raising her hand for a reason, or you had going through a medical condition? You got something to go, J-Ro? Looks like you're piped ready to go.
Well, I just feel like I know. I just feel like I have a solid living legend.
Okay, who do you got?
I think Nicole Austin coming out of Cascade Hollows. Okay,
that's a good one. That's a good one because the same thing. It's a younger individual, but she's doing great things. Yeah.
So she's 38 years old.
She's making a difference.
Gone through that she has gone through and found barrels there that no one knew were there. She's collaborating. She's She's thinking outside the box. I mean, she where she started and where she's at is like,
I agree.
Crazy.
The industry hasn't seen something like this since St. Louis's own Jackie Zykan went to Old Forester. Old Forester was an old stodgy brand. It was a terrible brand. And Jackie Zykan came there. They're hip. They're cool. They're back and part of the bourbon scene.
2 years in a row, Dickel has been in the top 10 #1 bourbons of the year. We had that 13-year-old, and then I'm just saying these are just things Nicole are doing. She's thinking outside the box. She's franchised.
I agree.
There was John Lunn there, and Nicole is really just bringing her knowledge, her intuition.
She's taken an old stodgy brand and turning it cool and relevant.
Yes, she is.
I think is good, which is good.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And she's a redhead.
And she's a redhead. So there you go. There you go.
There you go. There you have it.
Tim, what are your thoughts?
So Evan just brought up a good point of Greg Schneider at Chicken Cock. So there's old and young, regardless of age, experience. You get Greg Schneider talking about just talking. You'd be surprised at the bourbon stories because he was right next to Booker, right next to Fred growing up, and whatever it may be. I think the hard part with living legends is the title legend, because what I think I'm finding is Evan, you hit it with a wow factor. McNew, you hit it with a storytelling. You can spin a story. I mean, Beth Burrows, what she's done for hats, the hat industry, let alone, is spectacular. Mm-hmm. She's chosen a brand. She shows what she's done. But what each of these individuals are doing, like Beth does a Sunday porch session that she did last summer and everything. I tuned in every Sunday to see what she was going to talk about. And this is all part of their job. Let's be honest. This is part of their job, but they are excelling at their job. They are going over and above of what their standard meeting expectations would be. And I think that when it really comes down to it, when people are standing out, they're going over and above. It means they're taking their job and they're putting their personal brand, their personal twist on it.
Because you're right on.
Confidence to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beth Burrows is doing that because Beth Burrows came up with that idea, not because some suit in Chicago or now they're moving to New York where they're moving to. It wasn't a suit that said, "Hey, we need to start doing these Sunday things." It's Beth Burrows saying, "Hey, this is what I'd like to do. Can I do it?" And it's a big success, and that's legendary stuff. That's what gets you that title of being a legend.
Yeah. I have another one that falls into this.
Okay.
And that is Jack, our hood sommelier. He has built a brand for himself, a following, and he is always fascinating to listen to, whatever his take is on anything. And his Monday Suck sessions, whatever he's doing is fascinating. His Afro fusions, he's had a whole event. He's working with Heaven Hill. Like, he just really was like a dude on Instagram that built a thing.
Yes.
And I think it is great.
He's turned nothing into something very big. Yes. And again, why? Because of him. He's done all that.
And it's his passion. It's his energy. And you just, anytime he's speaking, I'm like, whatever he's saying, I am listening. Like, he is just a fascinating.
You said it best. There was an ABV Network tasting event with New Riff. And we had I don't know who was on from New Riff, either the brand ambassador or something. Jay
Erzman is who it was. So, co-founder of the company.
And Jack flat out says, "What's the story with your single barrel proofs going down every time you're releasing something?" And calls it right out. And Jack is something else, and that's like part of this, I look at myself personally, it's like I've got a work life and I've got a personal life that it can't really blend together, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So it's like my stuff is muted. And I'm not speaking selfishly, but there's a lot of people out there that are up and coming in this industry, if you want to call it industry, or just in this community, that are they're just starting to rise up regardless. I mean, McNew, look what you've done. Evan, look what you've done. It's amazing what's going on with just a group of folks talking about the whiskey brings us together, but the personality and the discussion and the passion that comes through it, that's what makes you the living legend. That separates you from everything else. Mm-hmm. It's that wow factor and something that you're taking on your own, exceeding expectations. And J-Ro, I follow you too as well. It's amazing what you guys are doing from that side, and keep on doing what you're doing and expressing yourself. Yeah. It's a job or it's a lifestyle. pick or choose. If it's a job,
Or it's
you know where you
both.
stand. If
It
it's a
actually
lifestyle,
can be both. It can be
Yeah.
both. I know.
Yeah.
I do. I live. It is my job and it is my lifestyle, and I am
There you go.
thankful for that every single day.
There you go.
and there you found the magic sauce.
Yeah, and-
There it is.
You had, I think it was on the Bourbon show, you had 3 E's. One was like education, entertainment. I forget what the other one was, but it was like, if you can educate me and entertain me, I am in. And I think that makes a living legend. I'm educated, I'm entertained. That's the content I want. That's who I'm looking at. I think
Right.
future legends.
I don't know that 30, but emotion would be a good
Yeah.
30 on
There
that.
was a third one. I don't
Engagement, maybe? I don't know. Yeah.
Engagement. Yes.
Engagement.
I think it was engagement. You want to get people involved and part of it.
Engagement.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So,
That's
and if
the
you're
selling
doing-
aspect.
If you are educating and entertaining, you automatically get engagement. So yes,
Yeah,
that's the formula.
that's the formula.
It
That's
does
a
feel